The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
It was wild.
Picture this. It is July 3, 2026. You are standing right in the middle of Madison Square Garden.
But, it doesn't look like an arena at all. It is a literal breathtaking garden.
Right, exactly. Like vines everywhere, flowers completely covering the space. The air is just thick with anticipation. And then there they are. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are actually tying the knot in front of 1,000 of the most famous people on the planet.
I mean, it was the pop culture event of the decade, hands down.
Oh, without a doubt. But, and I still cannot believe I'm saying this, the biggest story to come out of that historic, globally watched weekend was not the custom dress. It wasn't the vows.
No, it was a single Instagram post, a post that absolutely set the internet on fire.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
I'm Jamie, by the way.
And I'm Jordan. Today we are taking a deep dive into a pop culture explosion fueled by Gracie Abrams, Joe Alwyn, and Taylor Swift's mega wedding.
And we have got a massive stack of sources for this one. I mean, we are pulling from archive fashion breakdowns in Emirates Woman, industry analysis and entertainment, some really intense fandom debates on the R Swiftly neutral Reddit board, and deep dive YouTube commentary.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because on the surface, you might look at this and think, oh, it's just petty celebrity gossip.
Yeah.
But it is actually this fascinating case study in parasocial relationships, Hollywood networking, and the microscopic lens through which we view modern fame.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you've probably experienced this dynamic on a smaller scale, right? Like scrolling through a mutual friend's Instagram and overanalyzing who they tag.
Oh, totally. Like, why was I left out of that photo? Or what does that caption mean?
Exactly. Now just multiply that exact human instinct by 100 million people.
It is terrifying. But before we get into the actual controversy, we have to establish the sheer scale of this wedding, because that sets the stakes.
Right, the stakes were incredibly high.
So let's establish that scale. This was not like some intimate backyard ceremony. This was Madison Square Garden, 1,000 guests.
And Adam Sandler was officiating, which is just
mind-blowing, right? And Stevie Nicks is performing. The guest list reads like a roll call of global cultural influence. You've got Paul McCartney sitting near Brad Pitt.
Jason Kelce as the best man, naturally.
Naturally. And Taylor's brother, Austin Swift, was the man of honor. The gravity in that room is almost incomprehensible.
Yeah, and with that kind of immense gravity comes a very specific, unforgiving type of visibility. Every single person in that room knows they are being watched.
By everyone.
Exactly. Not just by the other A-list guests, but by the entire world waiting outside those doors.
The fashion alone proved how high the stakes were. Our source from Emirates Woman gave us a full rundown, and it sounded less like a traditional wedding reception and more like an archival fashion runway.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Taylor and Travis both wore custom Christian Dior.
Taylor's haute couture gown was designed by Jonathan Anderson, right?
Yes, Jonathan Anderson. And then you look at the guests. Gigi Hadid showed up in this hot pink Wiederhoofed gown.
Oh, straight off the spring 2025 runway.
Right. Selena Gomez wore a champagne Oscar de la Renta dress just covered in geometric crystals. And then there is Gracie Abrams.
The guest who sparked this entire controversy.
Exactly. She arrived in a cherry red Chanel dress from their Métier d'Art 2026 collection, totally embellished in crystals.
Which brings me to a question I've been trying to wrap my head around. With an event this massive, 1,000 people, high-stakes fashion contracts, global media attention, is this really a wedding? Or is it actually the ultimate high-stakes industry networking event?
That is the perfect question. Think of Hollywood as a closed corporate supply chain. A wedding at this echelon operates basically as a corporate-level summit.
So it's like a convention disguised as a personal milestone.
Pretty much. When you have studio executives mingling with global pop stars and NFL franchise owners, every action taken by the guests is hyper-visible. Who they talk to, what brands they represent, and crucially, what they post online afterward.
It is a highly choreographed performance.
Exactly. And a highly choreographed performance leaves absolutely zero room for unscripted chaos.
Right. Which means the public was desperate for a glimpse behind the curtain, something that felt real or raw.
Which is exactly what makes the post-event social media landscape so volatile.
And that's not even the wildest part. Fast forward a couple of days. The wedding glow is still shimmering over the internet, and Gracie Abrams decides it's time to post an Instagram photo dump.
Just a standard celebrity photo dump, or so it seemed.
Yeah, on the surface, the post seems totally fine. She shared a carousel of images. You get a few stunning pictures of her in that red Chanel wedding dress.
Some really cute childhood photos, too.
And some promotional material for her highly anticipated third studio album, Daughter from Hell, which was slated to drop on July 17th, 2026.
Which is honestly a textbook example of algorithm optimization.
Wait, really? How so?
Well, in social media mechanics, you bury promotional material for a product like an upcoming album between personal, high-engagement photos. It tricks the platform's algorithm.
Oh, I get it. People dwell on the carousel to look at the exclusive wedding dress photos, which increases the time spent metric.
Exactly, forcing the algorithm to push your album promo to a vastly wider audience.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. You're calling this smart algorithm optimization, but is deliberately poking the largest, most mobilized fan base on the internet, actually smart marketing.
Yeah.
Because to me, it sounds like career suicide.
Well,
let's look at what she actually posted. You swipe through the carousel. Slide 1, gorgeous Chanel dress. Slide 2, cute kid photo. And then you get to the infamous 5th slide.
The slide that changed everything.
It is a screenshot from the 2018 movie The Favorite. And it's not some random landscape shot. It is a specific scene showing Emma Stone's character violently attacking Joe Alwyn's character in the woods.
And Joe Alwyn, as everyone knows, is Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend of over 6 years.
How does making Swifties furious help Gracie sell her album?
Because social media algorithms are entirely agnostic to sentiment. They do not differentiate between a fan leaving a heart emoji and a furious detractor writing a 5-paragraph essay about how terrible you are.
So the outrage itself is the marketing engine.
Precisely. A massive wave of outrage signals to the algorithm that this post is highly relevant, so it pushes the post onto millions of additional feeds.
That is incredibly dystopian, but it completely explains the immediate fallout. Fans were swiping through this post, seeing Gracie at Taylor's wedding, and suddenly staring at Taylor's ex-boyfriend getting shoved into the dirt.
The backlash was instantaneous.
Oh yeah. Swifties flooded X, TikTok, or Gracie's Instagram comments. They were calling her a horrible friend and accusing her of a conflict of interest.
And it wasn't just the photo itself, right? It was what was missing. The absence of context is often what allows the internet to project their own narratives.
Right. Exactly. Gracie didn't even congratulate Taylor and Travis in the caption. There was no, "so happy for you guys" or "beautiful weekend." The caption was literally just a single tear-off calendar emoji.
Just an emoji. Fans were losing their minds, demanding to know how you go to someone's wedding and then post about their ex with 0 congratulations.
Later in the episode, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming regarding the fans' reactions. But right now, we have to talk about the detail that sent the internet completely over the edge.
Oh, the plot twist.
Yes. Joe Alwyn actually liked Gracie's post.
He liked it. You know, the like is such a fascinating mechanism of modern communication. Social media platforms have gamified these microscopic interactions.
It takes a fraction of a second to do.
Right. But in the public arena, it is treated as an official endorsement, a statement of intent, and a public alliance all rolled into one.
It feels chaotic. I mean, imagine going to your best friend's wedding, having an amazing time, and then posting an album of you looking gorgeous at the reception, but casually slipping a photo of her ex-boyfriend right in the middle of it.
And then the ex likes the photo.
If someone did that in my friend group, there would be actual screaming matches.
It absolutely feels chaotic if you view it strictly through the lens of standard, everyday social etiquette. But this is where we have to untangle the dense web of Hollywood relationships.
Right, returning to that corporate supply chain metaphor.
Yeah.
Because there is a very logical explanation for why Gracie Abrams and Joe Alwyn are even in each other's orbit.
Our sources actually break down this 6 degrees of separation perfectly. So Gracie Abrams is dating the actor Paul Mescal.
Who missed the MSG wedding because he was attending a different wedding that week.
Right, but Paul Mescal and Joe Alwyn are famously close friends. They share a very specific professional bond.
Oh, because they both starred in highly acclaimed television adaptations of novels by Sally Rooney.
Exactly. Joe Alwyn was in Conversations with Friends, and Paul Mescal was the breakout star of Normal People.
They even have a group chat. The elite daily source noted that Paul, Joe, and the actor Andrew Scott, the hot priest from Fleabag, have a WhatsApp group chat called the Tortured Man Club.
It's an ironic, self-aware nod to the types of brooding, emotionally complex characters they all tend to play. So when Gracie is in a serious relationship with Paul Mescal, It becomes a statistical certainty that she spends a significant amount of time with his close friends.
Including Joe Alwyn.
Right, including Joe.
I am still struggling to map this out, though, because Taylor has been a massive mentor to Gracie. Gracie opened for Taylor on multiple legs of the Eras tour. They literally co-wrote a Grammy-nominated song together called Us for Gracie's album, The Secret of Us.
She's very embedded in Taylor's world.
Yeah, Gracie has gone on the record calling Taylor a safe space to land in the industry. If Hollywood is this ruthless corporate supply chain, why would Gracie risk alienating the ultimate CEO, Taylor Swift, just to be cordial to her boyfriend's buddy?
Because Taylor Swift, as the CEO in this metaphor, likely understands the rules of the supply chain better than anyone else. You cannot boycott a supplier just because you had a personal falling out or your whole assembly line shuts down.
In Hollywood, other actors, directors, and musicians are your supply chain. So they have to maintain professional neutrality.
Precisely. The Reddit discussions we analyzed, particularly on the R. Swiftly Neutral board, really nailed this dynamic. Users pointed out that Taylor almost certainly does not care about Gracie posting a meme of Joe Alwyn.
They brought up some fantastic historical examples to prove it, too. Like Taylor's best friend, Gigi Hadid, remains very close with the Kardashian family, despite Taylor's historically massive feud with Kim Kardashian.
Exactly. And another extremely close friend, Zoe Kravitz, is literally engaged to Taylor's ex-boyfriend, Harry Styles.
Wow. When you lay it out like that, it really highlights how incestuous and intertwined the entire industry is. They can't afford to hold those kinds of grudges.
Adults in this industry simply cannot operate by high school cafeteria rules where you can't sit with someone because they broke up with your friend.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have anyone left to work with. Gracie's dating Paul. Paul is best friends with Joe. Gracie's going to be cordial with Joe. That is just the baseline requirement of existing in adult Hollywood.
But the internet fundamentally refused to see it that way.
Which brings us to the actual court of public opinion and this intense fandom culture. If you're loving these Hollywood twits, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead. Because the divide we saw in the sources was wild.
Oh, it was a war zone online.
On one side, you have fans essentially demanding that Gracie be officially disinvited from the inner circle. They were quoting Taylor's own lyrics at her, using the line, "A friend to all is a friend to none."
They were treating an Instagram carousel like a signed declaration of war.
And on the other side,
you had defenders, mostly on Reddit, who were utterly baffled by the outrage. One user explicitly argued, adults don't disinvite someone to a wedding, BC, they follow someone on Instagram.
They pointed out that Gracie likely congratulated Taylor privately, offline, where real friendships actually exist. It sparked this huge philosophical debate about what we, as the public, are actually entitled to see versus what happens behind closed doors.
This gets right to the heart of the psychology driving this massive response. We have to ask why the fans care so much more deeply than the celebrities themselves likely do.
Right. Especially when Joe Alwyn has been really graceful in the press. Like, referencing his June 2024 interview with The Times, he talked about the difficulty of ending a 6.5-year relationship in the public eye. He wasn't stirring up drama.
No, not at all. To understand the fans' reaction, we need to look at a concept called parasocial projection.
Break that down for us.
Parasocial projection is essentially a one-sided psychological bond that tricks the human brain. When a celebrity writes deeply personal, emotionally resonant music about a breakup, a dedicated fan doesn't just listen to it, they internalize it.
Like it happened to them.
Exactly. The fan's brain literally processes the celebrity's shared trauma as if it happened to a close friend in real life. It bypasses logic and triggers real-world defensive instincts.
So when fans see Gracie casually posting a photo of Joe Alwyn, they feel personally betrayed.
They feel the sting of disloyalty, even if Taylor herself is happily drinking champagne at her wedding, completely unbothered.
I have to challenge that a bit, though. Are these fans actually feeling genuinely protective of Taylor Swift? Or is that just a convenient excuse? Because to me, it feels like the internet just wants a villain.
That's a really good point.
It's almost like they're playing an interactive game, and this Instagram post was just a new puzzle piece for them to play with.
You're touching on the gamification of celebrity gossip, which is a huge driver of internet culture. For a highly mobilized fandom, dissecting these relationships is an interactive soap opera.
Finding the hidden meaning, the perceived slights, the missing captions in a photo dump. validates their obsession.
It makes them feel like insider detectives who understand the real dynamics, even when they are completely misreading a totally normal social overlap. They aren't just consuming the story, they are demanding to be active participants in it. It is wild to think about living under that kind of microscope. Imagine if every time you went to a party and posted a photo, millions of strangers dissected the background to see if your boyfriend's best friend was in it.
And then check to see exactly what time you posted it.
And then aggressively accused you of betraying your host. It would be psychologically exhausting for an average person.
But for someone operating at the highest levels of the entertainment industry, it is just a Tuesday. And honestly, returning to our discussion on algorithm optimization, this entire manufactured controversy likely drove astronomical engagement for Gracie's new album.
Daughter from Hell got millions of dollars in free global press out of a single movie screenshot, which makes you wonder if provoking the fandom was the actual point all along. Though maybe that's a conspiracy theory for another day.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, right? But seriously, in the modern attention economy, the algorithm does not care if you are famous or infamous. It only cares that people are looking. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? The core takeaway here is actually incredibly grounded. Navigating mutual friendships after a big breakup is a messy, complicated, and entirely universal human experience.
We've all been there. You have probably had to figure out how to be polite to a friend's ex at a party.
Or how to navigate a group text when two people in it are no longer speaking to each other.
It requires a delicate balance of loyalties, and it's a tightrope that almost everyone has to walk at some point in their social lives.
The only difference is that when you do it, you don't have millions of people zooming in on your Instagram likes, quoting pop lyrics at you, and calling it a grand, unforgivable betrayal. You get the luxury of figuring it out privately.
Making mistakes and moving on without a global audience tracking your every move.
Which brings up a fascinating and somewhat unsettling question to leave you with. In an era where every follow and every random slide in a photo dump is tracked, dissected, and ultimately monetized by the public, do true private friendships even exist for these celebrities anymore?
Or is every single digital interaction, every post, and every tag just a carefully calculated piece of performance art designed to feed the machine?
Think back to that opening image, the flashbulbs popping at Madison Square Garden, the crowd frozen in awe. We love to think we see everything in that blinding light, but maybe the real story, the actual truth of these relationships, is the part that remains safely hidden in the dark. You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.